The new video footage in Foolio's murder case doesn't just add more evidence. It also shows how sloppy and unprofessional the killers were, and there's even more to it. Remember how the case originally said there were 5 suspects? Well, now there are rumors about a possible 6th suspect, someone a lot of people already know. In this video, we're going to break down the new viral footage and talk about the potential 6th person involved in Foolio's murder. Let's get into it. Police say that Sean Gathright, the main suspect in Foolio's murder, used his mom's car, a 2008 Chevy Impala, for the shooting. A neighbor, who's now listed as a witness, gave police security camera footage showing Sean loading a bag, which might have had weapons in it, into his mom's car. Can you believe that? This guy used his mom's car for a murder. What if someone shot at the car later and his mom was in it? On top of that, Gathright didn't even cover or change the license plate. Everything was caught on camera, making it super easy for the police to track him down. And that's not a whole operation was a mess, clearly planned and carried out by amateurs. But we'll talk more about that in a bit. First, let's go over what the police investigation uncovered. On the night of June 22nd, 2024, Jacksonville, rapper Foolio went to Tampa, Florida to celebrate his 26th birthday. He shared his plans on Instagram. He was going to visit Teaser's Gentleman's Club and Truth 189 nightclub, but he had no idea that a group of people had other plans. According to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, the suspects were Shaw Gathright, Isaiah Chance, Alicia Andrews, Rashad Murphy, Davin Murphy. They traveled to Tampa in a silver Chevy Cruze, a black Chevy Impala, and stayed at a rented Airbnb, which became their base of operations. That Airbnb turned out to be another big mistake. Not because of the rental itself, because of something Rashad did. We'll come back to that. On the night of June 23rd, Isaiah Chance and his girlfriend Alicia Andrews were in the Cruze, while Gathright and the Murphy brothers were in the Impala. Surveillance footage shows that Chance was using his phone to coordinate with Gathright, following Foolio and his group from place to place. At around 4:30 a.m., the Cruze drove past Foolio's parked cars twice, then parked near the Home 2 Suites by Hilton, where Foolio and his friends were staying. Soon after, 3 people from the Impala got out and started shooting. They fired at Foolio's Dodge Charger, hitting the front windshield several times. Foolio was killed on the spot, and 2 others were injured. The back window of a Nissan Altima nearby was also hit. A car parked about 10 feet away was also hit by gunfire, injuring another person. The shooters used AR-style rifles with brass catchers, devices that collect bullet casings so they don't fall on the ground. But one of the shooters used a fully automatic pistol, and he wasn't so careful. He left behind 39mm shell casings at the scene. Investigators later found out those bullets were most likely fired from a Gen 5 Glock. The investigation that followed was extremely detailed. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, working with the Tampa Police Department, used license plate readers to track the suspects' vehicles. They discovered that both the Chevy Cruze and the Impala left Jacksonville on June 22nd, the same day Foolio started posting his location on Instagram. Then, on June 26th, police in Gwinnett County, Georgia, found the Cruze in a hotel parking lot in Norcross. Rashad Murphy, who was alone in the car, tried to run away but was caught. He was arrested for obstruction and for giving false information to the police. When they examined the Cruze, they found damage on the back passenger side, which matched the surveillance footage from the murder scene. However, it's unclear whether Murphy was questioned about the murder while in custody. He was released soon afterward. That same day, police found the Impala in Pope County, near the home of a relative of Sean Gathright. A family member told investigators that Gathright had called on June 23rd, saying he was coming to visit. He showed up that evening, driving the Impala. Gathright claimed he gave a ride to some friends, ate dinner, and then left for Jacksonville in a Toyota 4Runner registered to his mom. He left the Impala behind but took some items with him. On June 27th, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office searched the homes of both Gathright and Isaiah Chance. AtGathright's home, they found a gun safe with several rifles, including one with a brass catcher, plus 2 9mm shell casings that matched the ones found at the scene of Foolio's murder. Chance's house, police found 2 Glock 9mm pistols and a poster on his bedroom wall showing fists with thumbs pointed down and the words "bully down," which they believe is a reference to Foolio. Phone records showed that after seeing the shooting, Gathright drove the Impala to his relative's house in Pope County to hide it. Meanwhile, Davin Murphy and someone else drove the Cruze back to Jacksonville, and the other 3 suspects took an Uber. Before we continue, there's something important you need to know. The main suspect, 18-year-old Sean Gathright, isn't just linked to this killing. He's also connected to a previous attempt on Foolio's life. To understand the full situation, let's go back to October 2023, the year Foolio was shot in the foot. Surprisingly, new evidence has come up that connects Sean Gathright to that attack too. Here's what happened. Very early one morning, Foolio went out to a convenience store to buy a vape. But while he was driving, He stopped at a red light and got ambushed. During the attack, he was shot in the foot. At the time, no one knew who did it, but it was clear someone was out to get him. During the investigation into Foolio's murder, police found a key connection to that earlier shooting. Remember the Chevy Impala the cops found? After digging into it, they discovered that the rifle shell casings inside the car matched those from the October 2023 shooting. That evidence tied Gathright directly to the earlier attempt on Foolio's life. It wasn't just a coincidence. Painted a clear picture that Gathright was involved in multiple violent attacks. Gathrit's arrest happened during a routine traffic stop. Cops found a 9mm pistol, a rifle, and 9 spent shell casings from the larger weapon in his car. He wasn't working alone. Isaiah Chance and his girlfriend Alicia Andrews were also arrested by Jacksonville police and taken into custody. At this point, Davin Murphy and Rashad Murphy were still on the run and listed as wanted by the police. Now, earlier in this video, I told y'all I'd explain how these guys really exposed themselves, and here it is. While the investigation into Foolio's murder uncovered a lot of evidence against Gathright and his crew, one thing stood out the most: a leaked conversation that went viral online. Isaiah Chance was caught talking in a Twitter space where he basically confessed to a crime he was planning. If there's one thing every criminal should know, it's that the feds are always listening. And in today's world, there's a new rule: never put your business on social media because someone's always recording. But Isaiah must have forgotten that, tried to be slick, using code words like fish, thinking nobody would understand. If regular people could figure it out, the feds definitely did too.
Oh, you got bigger fish to fry.
You with the fish?
No, I'm not.
Hell nah. I just twisted that bit so bad, bro. I don't got no fish to fry. I done threw my big net out there.
You're probably thinking, is this boy dumb? And honestly, you're not wrong. He really is. Here's the thing. Little mistakes like this, when added up, can seriously affect how the jury or judge sees the case. And right now, there's no escaping the consequences. In fact, the judge recently denied bond for Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, and Alicia Andrews. That means they're staying locked up while the prosecution builds a case strong enough to send them to prison. Moving on. Remember how Rashad Murphy and Davin Murphy were both on the run? Well, the police have finally caught Rashad, and there's a lot more to this story that y'all need to hear. Fourth suspect, Rashad Murphy's beef with Foolio. When people ask why Foolio was killed, most point fingers at Sean Gathright, wondering why a teen would go after Foolio twice. But for a second, let's shift the focus to Rashad Murphy, because there's real bad blood between him and Foolio. This might not have been random. This could have been retaliation. Let me explain. Back in 2018, rising local rapper named Joe Rod Adams, also known as 1200 Spaz, was shot and killed by a man named Robert Howard, aka Kenny Caps, who happened to be Foolio's right-hand man. The night was chaotic. 1200 Spaz was ambushed and shot multiple times. It all tied back to a long-running feud between rival rap crews, a beef that had already taken several lives. Now here's the key part. Joe Rod Adams was reportedly Rashad Murphy's younger brother. That's where the personal motive comes in. It's not hard to imagine Rashad being driven by pain and anger, wanting revenge for his brother. And yeah, you might ask, why go after Foolio instead of the actual killer? Well, if you know Foolio, you know his whole image was built around dissing dead ops. In this case, he took shots at 1200 Spaz too. His track list of dead ops: Foolio raps, Amp and Big Bando died together, smoking Spaz forever. There were also rumors that Foolio's people spat and pissed on 1200 Spaz's grave. While there's no solid proof that Foolio himself was involved, knowing his history, it's not out of the question. Put all this together and you start to see the picture. Rashad Murphy may have wanted payback. Maybe, just maybe, he was the one who started this whole plan, bringing in Gathright, Isaiah Chance, and Alicia Andrews to help carry it out. But I'll let y'all decide that part. How Rashad Murphy was found and arrested. Now let's talk about how Rashad got caught. On July 30th, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, JSO, received a tip about his whereabouts. They were told he was hiding in an apartment complex on Collins Road, on the city's west side. Just before sunrise, a convoy of law enforcement moved in. Police vehicles swarmed the west side apartment complex where Rashad Murphy was hiding. They quickly surrounded the area, with officers taking strategic positions to block any possible escape routes. For safety, residents were evacuated from nearby units, adding to the tension. The standoff began when officers used a loudspeaker to call out to Murphy, urging him to surrender peacefully. But Murphy refused to come out. As time passed, the situation grew more intense. Given Murphy's criminal background, police knew things could turn dangerous fast if it wasn't handled properly. Tactical units were placed on standby in case the standoff escalated. After several hours of high-stress negotiation, Murphy finally seemed to realize he had no way out. He agreed to surrender. The tension in the air lifted as officers prepared to take him into custody. With weapons drawn and precautions in place, They approached the apartment. Murphy stepped out with his hands in the air. He was immediately arrested and placed in handcuffs, ending the standoff. His arrest marked a major turning point in the investigation into Foolio's murder. Authorities believe Rashad played a key role in organizing the attack, and capturing him was a huge step toward justice for Foolio and his family. Rashad's Airbnb slip-up. Remember earlier when I mentioned that Rashad rented an Airbnb? Here's the full story. As police dug deeper into the investigation, one of the biggest pieces of evidence that came up was that Rashad Murphy rented an Airbnb only 3 miles from the crime scene. That alone raised suspicions, but it gets worse. Police also got access to digital records from Rashad's phone, and what they found linked him even more directly to the crime. These records included a booking confirmation and other damning details that placed him right near the scene around the time of the murder. The Airbnb booking that Rashad Murphy made turned out to be another big mistake. Booking was made under Murphy's name using an online platform. The payment was traced back to a credit card connected to him. This confirmed he was staying at the Airbnb during the critical hours surrounding Julio Foolio's murder. The Airbnb was located in a quiet residential neighborhood, not the kind of place you'd expect someone involved in a murder to hide out, but that choice didn't work in his favor. Nearby surveillance cameras caught a car matching Murphy's vehicle entering and leaving the area multiple times on the night of the murder. This footage helped build a timeline of his movements. Even worse, the Ring doorbell camera on the Airbnb's front door captured Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews arriving, further placing them at the scene. Inside the Airbnb, investigators found multiple items tied to the crime. This included clothing and personal belongings that matched what Murphy was wearing the night of the shooting. Forensic tests showed traces of gunpowder residue on some of the clothes, strongly implicating him in the shooting. But that's not all. During their search of the Airbnb, police also found a burner phone hidden inside. This phone had been used for calls and texts right around the time of the murder. Messages on it, they were chilling. In one text, Murphy wrote, "I'm coming home. My thirst is quenched. Pop a bottle of Don Julio today." That message, like a cold celebration of what had just happened. It became one of the final pieces of evidence sealing the case against him. With all of this, Murphy, Gathright, Isaiah Chance, and Alicia Andrews have been arrested by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. But the fifth suspect, Davin Murphy, is still on the run. Possible sixth suspect, Youngeen Ace? Oh, here's something wild. There's talk of a sixth suspect in the case, and some people believe it might be rapper Youngeen Ace. In a recent interview, DJ Academics directly asked Ace if he had anything to do with Foolio's murder. Ace didn't give a clear answer. He just laughed. The reaction had a lot of people raising their eyebrow. It might not be proof, but let's be honest, it looked suspicious. Whether or not Youngeen Ace is involved, one thing is clear: the feds are definitely closing in.
So Youngeen Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them.
Youngeen Ace. Did he snitch on himself? The internet is going crazy right now. A lot of people believe Youngeen Ace's time might be up. One user posted, "Youngeen Ace getting watched 24/7 by the feds. He cooked." Another wrote, "I'm pretty sure the feds are enjoying the music videos Ace dropped after Foolio's death." So, the big question is, how is Youngeen Ace connected to the murder of Julio Foolio? Let me break it down for y'all. Controversial diss track. Do It. Just hours after Foolio was murdered, Ace dropped a diss track called Do It, and the internet exploded. The timing was already suspicious, but it's the lyrics and visuals that really made people start connecting the dots. In the track, Ace raps, "I don't even call him by his name. I call Lee Do It. He with his baby? Do it. He with his mama? This money make a expletive, do it." The repetition of the word do it sounds like he's giving the green light, telling people to go after his enemies, no matter who they're with. And here's the crazy part. A few years ago, Foolio's mother and girlfriend were actually shot, but they survived. Now, fans are wondering if these lyrics suggest Ace might have had something to do with that too. Whether true or not, it's never smart to rap about crimes in detail, especially when the feds are listening. Just ask Young Thug or YNW Melly. Lyrics have played a huge role in their legal battles. The music video adds fuel to the fire. The video for Do It makes things even worse. It shows masked men ambushing and gunning down someone in a hotel parking lot, a scene that looks eerily similar to the real-life attack on Foolio at the Holiday Inn. The parallels are impossible to ignore. The lyrics, the video, the timing, it all has people thinking Ace might have just snitched on himself. Social media reaction fans and critics didn't hold back. One person tweeted, "Ace told them to do it, y'all." Another said, He did all these victory laps for an inevitable RICO charge. That's tough. People genuinely believe Ace's own lyrics might be used against him in court, just like what's happening with Thug and Melly. To understand the beef, you have to go back to really understand why someone would drop a diss track the same day. Their op is killed. We need to go back nearly a decade, to the beginning of the war between Youngin Ace and Foolio. This isn't just about two rappers dissing each other. It's a deep and violent feud between their crews. Ace's crew, ATK, Ace Top Killers, Foolio's crew, KTA, Kill Them All. This beef has already led to multiple shootings, diss tracks, and real-life tragedies. The death of Foolio might just be the latest and deadliest chapter in this long-running street war. The bloody history between Youngin Ace and Foolio. The feud between Youngin Ace and Foolio isn't just rap beef. It's a violent saga marked by real-life tragedy, revenge, and relentless street warfare. Originating in the streets of Jacksonville, Florida, their rivalry has taken countless dark turns over the years. It all started with bloodshed. Youngin Ace, born Kayanta Bullard, saw his life change forever in June 2018. That night, Ace was out with his brother Trevon Bullard and two close friends, Royal Smith and Joby Groover, when they were ambushed in a drive-by shooting. Ace survived with serious injuries, but his brother and both friends were killed. That moment shaped his music and hardened his resolve. Began as pain quickly turned into purpose and a growing hatred. Foolio, born Charles Jones, suffered a personal tragedy of his own. In February 2019, his younger brother Adrian Gaynor Jr., aka Bibby, was shot and killed in Jacksonville. This devastated Foolio and further intensified the tension between the two camps. They dissed tracks that crossed the line. The pain both rappers endured turned into fuel for a deadly musical war. In March 2021, Ace dropped the now infamous track Who I Smoke, sampling Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles. On the surface, it's catchy, but the lyrics, brutal. Ace and his crew openly mock Foolio and name-drop several of his dead friends. The video, featuring golf carts and clean visuals, went viral instantly, sparking massive backlash. Foolio clapped back with When I See You, a remix of Fantasia's R&B classic. But this wasn't just a diss, it was a direct shot at Ace's pain. In the music video, Foolio stands in front of a memorial dedicated to Ace's dead brother and friends, making it crystal clear. This beef was deeply personal. Gangs, retaliation, and escalating violence. But the violence wasn't confined to just bars and videos. Both rappers are linked to street gangs. Youngin Ace's crew, ATK, Ace's Top Killers, Foolio's side, KTA, Kill Them All. These affiliations have resulted in a series of real-world shootings, retaliation attacks, and deaths. The music is raw and real, but the price has been extremely high. Friends and family members have died, and the streets of Jacksonville continue to bleed. Even with all this chaos, both rappers managed to build successful careers, using their authentic pain to connect with fans. Some argue that this rivalry is part of what pushed them into the spotlight, but at a massive human cost. New allegations surface, a bounty on Foolio? Adding another twist to this story, a new video surfaced online recently that sent social media into a frenzy. In the video, a masked man claims responsibility for Foolio's murder and alleges that it wasn't random. He claims Foolio was targeted over his beef with Youngin Ace, and even goes as far as saying Ace put a $10,000 bounty on Foolio's head. While the identity of the masked man remains unknown, this video has added even more suspicion and pressure on Ace. If the authorities take this seriously, it could play a major role in any future investigation.